Well, assalamu alaikum, askan bi mbokk yi ñu seetaan jamono ji si Citizens Network Gambia. Greetings to every one of you watching us right now. This is a live broadcast of Citizens Network Gambia, and if you're just watching us now, of course, the topic of discussion tonight is the countdown to December 4th presidential elections. We've been counting years, months, weeks, and now we are talking about days. And joining me on this platform right now is Sanna Darboe from the United Kingdom. Sanna, welcome to this very important topic of discussion this evening. You're muted. You're muted, Sanna.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Baboucarr, thank you very much for inviting me to the program. I'm really honored to join you today. Discuss the countdown to the 2021 or December 4th, 2021 presidential elections in the Gambia. This is a day that everyone was dreaming about from a long time ago. And, thank God or thank goodness and thank God that, we are alive to witness this. So it is a massive, massive, massive event in the Gambia. And yes, I'm really honored to join you today. Can you hear me? Is that my internet?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah. Yeah, as you rightly mentioned, it's a great one, and we just want to extend our greetings to Mr. Abdullah Kaur, who have just joined the program and part of the viewers watching this important program. December 4th is fast approaching, and as I said earlier on the introduction, abuko what was it? Like I liro futata tongotole, mumbatu kandung sanjol mbawle komandi kandung. Nata for Carol, Wixol, say affile, lum nani ñato rek mbina sibito inshallah Gambia ñata kata pour solto pour ka quartier fay ke la ñatanko tombang sana ye call je ñadile first of all neñi ka campaign ba during right now but last minute le ko teng call ñi atata anata isa somam no ñadile
Baboucarr, baraka bake, thank you. To nyalam kany meta nyinji belale kabiring safo since 2017. Because move along 2016 was the last election we had. And the election was the time we had dictatorship in the country. Sure. So after that, Mobe from 2016 to now, Mobe be expectant 2021 la. Mobe hakilo tata ulakan because to take you back, the current government was meant to be a transition government. Nyeng masa kunami beji moli ekejele puri ek transition government. And then transition government means bejele interimly so that it's a cool for demanding, then gonna proper election soto, and then gonna move on to Masakunda and move on. So transition long, even though we had problems. I think someone is echoing, Baboucarr. Is it myself or you?
That must be from your end,
okay.
maybe.
All right. So it come back for government munum transition government lam nung me alon ko ñen jama expect ko be dana nung sanji wala graman nata nung dang sanji wala anata ta fo sanji lulu which to the credit of Gambians, Gambia manke banku to me alon ko is it's not a peaceful country. Gambia is a very peaceful molbe kasi molbe mum badi molati Gambian ko ni ajibe bake molbe le denta intermarriage means sort Gambia NRGB ibe Dauda Gambia you may have relatives in Basse or Gunjur from one end to the other so mulmana nyu sabo sort of bake although yes during that time 3 years job na sort of where some people came out to claim that the president had promised to be there for only 3 years and then leave. So world also that but woman like a big problem. Gambians are very peaceful. I've said this many times. Gambian are very, very peaceful. Yes, sometimes mul kawalile, mul kanyu sabakulla, but large extent Gambian will be are very, very peaceful. In fact, I think we are one of the most peaceful countries in the sub-region in West Africa. So during this time, Baboucarr, problem jamama soro, yes, Modou still believe ko President Manyana Katambi Sanji Sabala, but I think many people have laid that behind. You know, Mojama ila mind make up like a woman capacity. Oh, let's just go with what the constitution says. And then Tambita was still saying, every political party in Adapare. Initially, we had up to what about 20 more political party in Tata for independence combined. Tata for one killing 21 registered political parties or independents. Many along election. So with time, you know, cabinet nomination oketa, will nara G. Some of them were rejected. IEC manna so will nomination ola. Some of them decided there is no point for them to go into the nominations because among enough not enough people, so enough people gather. So you know, to the credit of IEC, they took a firm decision in some political parties here, court case also. For example, CA, Citizens Alliance, and GMC, Gambia Moral Congress of my party. You know, any push and pull sort of. They went to the courts, and we also what happens in the courts. You know, CA win their case, and GMC also I think won their case. You know, the courts instructing IEC to kind of work with these people so that they can be on the ballot. But IEC came back and said, no, this is not going to happen because these people haven't met, you know, the electoral requirements. So Obeke aside, we are now left with 6 candidates, and then 6 candidates will Molbe on the Milbe Lokan side. You know, so far so good. I will say so far so good, Baboucarr, because yes, sometimes incidents will move from one end to the other, but we buy political and elections are always like that, you know. But I have to give credit to the Gambian people. I think, you know, there is a level of maturity with Gambian people right now. Gambian people are showing that elections is not going to divide us. We are one people. You know, we've been together for far too long, and just because, you know, most of the middle of the Lola to become a president doesn't necessarily mean I have to go after my own Gambian people to insult them or to fight with people. So Molio Bejala say, so personally I am, you know, very, very much hopeful for election bitara conduct and then peacefully at the Bandale, because largely Gambian people are very peaceful. More problem also and I don't foresee that happening. So right now we have 6 candidates in level local, and you know, looking at matters on the ground in Gambia right now, but I'm watching this very closely. Looking at all the political parties, you know, we see the president moving with huge crowds wherever he's going. And I one time I'm in president of crowd competition level, which I don't understand very much, but you know, I think it's just to beef up things to make it a little bit more interesting. But yes, President Majalaning crowd the move come from one end to the other. Likewise, other candidates, UDP for a huge crowd. Likewise, Mama Kande, many people. This guy, I don't think anyone should underestimate Mama Kande and GDC. They are having a large crowds wherever they go. And secondly, Fonyi looks like is going to be either dominated by them or, you know, they are going to take large parts of Fonyi. So, you know, Baboucarr Nying election a bit interesting la back. And I think, you know, that is acceptable. And that is what Gambians want to see, a pure democracy, proper democracy. Aitama, you know, election freely, openly, and then we see who is going to win. And I sincerely believe and hope and pray that election on your conduct bang peacefully, and then Minyanta Tombona I Tombong, I see I came president.
Interesting. Yeah, for Nyaming, you know, Kujamal Lefota, Kujamal Leketa for from 2017 to date, you know, more than 20 candidates go left Banko Mara, you know, IEC Naratala for 6. Ning 6 all kono yeminu jeteng, these presidential candidates. Ila Jeroto, you mean they are all qualified to run this country, or anybody that is chosen can solve the problems of this country from your own perspective?
Baboucarr, that's a tough question. What question is interesting to Bakele? Whether they are all qualified, I mean, that is a very subjective area. Minayat is very subjective because there is no prerequisite qualification for a president currently in the 1997 constitution. I think the only one you have is someone near a school bank. doesn't matter. I'm Minnesota school, I'll result community, but someone who finishes secondary school, that's it. I think that is the only prerequisite education or qualification that one has to have in order to contest to become a president. So whether they are all qualified, I think Gambians can decide that. In my own opinion, I can't tell exactly because I don't even know the qualifications of most of these candidates.
No, again, Ninko qualification on I'm talking about the problems in the Gambia already. Momi
right.
alunkonsa na karte de no pro I work problem all solve. For more ning six or you think any of them or be qualified to solve the problems of this country, not academic wise and stuff.
Right.
Mm,
Right.
mm,
I see what you
mm,
mean.
mm.
Okay. Again, that's a very tough one. Interesting. Near Jibe, let me start off with Abdullah Jame. Abdullah Jame is the leader of NUP, National Unity Party. Is that
But,
National
mm,
Unity?
yeah, nope, is it nope, in it?
Yes, something like that. So
Yeah.
Abdullah Jame, I don't know him. I don't know him very much. I don't think he is very known in the Gambia.
Mhm.
Yes, he was the Director General of Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, GCAA, and he has been there for a while. Before being the director, he used to be one of the admin staffs there. So he has been in the circus for quite a long time. I do work at Gambia Civil Aviation Authority for a very long time, and I think very recently in 2021, President Waya Bondi some foreign service, something like that, and he rejected that. So whether he is qualified, I think he is because somebody who was able to lead GCAA for some time, I think, from my own perspective, I would give him the benefit of the doubt. I think, he's okay. I haven't seen, he hasn't been exposed that much for people to decide. Okay, if you move away from Abdullah Jame, I will come to who? Mama Kande. Mama Kande to me, he has done very well in terms of ala help, ala social commitments. Ala party and himself, they've done well for the rural communities. They did loads of boreholes for them. They gave out some charities here and there, hospital maintenance in, maintaining hospitals around the country. He has done, some remarkable philanthropic things for the people. So he has that empathy. I can see that on him. He has the empathy with the people. And I don't see him as a brutal guy. I don't see him as an aggressive guy. So whether he is capable of ruling Gambia or taking the mantle of leadership, I think yes. Mama Kande, I would say yes. Looking at what he has done, I minke banko kang, and then also ala na fintira ala diamunya, and also you can see he has some sort of leadership skills in him. Is it enough? I don't know, but I think yes, I would say he is capable. Okay. Then you come to Halifa Saleh. Halifa Saleh is a very, everybody know he's kind of very experienced guy. Experience is second to none. He has been in the circus for quite a long time. He has been in parliament here and there. Akatarajele, sometimes I drop out, sometimes I muruje, but he has been in politics for a very long time. I think longer than anyone else contesting right now. To be specific, I think he's about 35 years in politics. So he has the experience, he has the knowledge, and a la public appearance. Yes, I don't know him personally, but I think for me he passed that requirement to become the president of the Gambia. I see no reason why he wouldn't pass that qualification for me. So Ndangamira Halifa Saleh Fanang, yes, definitely is also qualified. Atafana Sekeno Gambia president. And then you come to lawyer Usainu Darboe. Usainu Darboe, he has been a lawyer for over 40 years. I case like Gambia. In fact, he was the lawyer for big corporates in the Gambia, like Social Security, Gamtel, Gambia Ports Authority. And then I case like during our time as a lawyer. I remember, I was a baby when he took over the case of Sirif Mustafa Diba in 1980, 1981. He sort of like he stopped most of those people going to prison or face execution because Atele Lote. So he has done a lot for Gambians. Many people came out Kafoko Atelem to like his represent pro bono for free. Amamul charge fender. And he has experience since 1996, coming to 25, 26 years now. he was challenging Yaya Jammeh dictatorship. Not many politicians wanted to challenge Yaya Jammeh. Not many have that desire to do it because fear of your life. So he has taken so much. He has been there for quite a while, and he has the experience. So I would say yes. Gambia is a small country, and the experience he has with the qualifications and the time taken, I think he's also above the line. And then you come to Adama Barrow. Adama Barrow, he has proven himself more in the last 5 years. President. Whether you are happy with what he did, you can say yes or no. Whether you are not happy, you can say yes or no. But Mobe Adama Barrow Menke. Adama Barrow for Lotala ko ataman qualified. Kabri ya tombon nung. Initially, when he was picked, he came out and said he's not qualified. He's a businessman and he has no desire to continue as a president. He will only be there for 3 years and then, come down. He has proven himself. Niala Mulnininka on the NPP side, what they say to you is that Adama Barrow is peaceful, he's democratic, he allows the media free, he allows the parastatals or institutions to operate freely. That is a bar against Yaya Jammeh because Yaya Jammeh Mobe he used to kind of control all the parastatals. The media was not free. So they are judging Adama Barrow against Yaya Jammeh, which is understandable because you can if you have to give him or you have to compare him with anyone, it has to be Jammeh. So on that side, yes, I democracy allow it to flow. I free speech in Fanang. I often allow, although we have some minor cases where journalists have been, harassed or sort of like have some incidents with state instruments. Waka Sotole, but for me, I would give him, a good on that because, he could have come in, although I have a Korea, but he could have come in and say, you know what, we are going to use full force on people, so he has proven himself. Personally, I think there are some sort of lapses in him. Alonko, you wouldn't expect of, a president, but I follow my experience. He's not a politician, so I'm not going to sit down here and say, "Oh, he's a top-notch president." More problem in the last 5 years. So depending on who you talk to. I mean, some people will tell you, he's a good guy, we want him to stay. Some people will say, no, he is not good enough, he's not competent. And then, during his time, my biggest problem with him is that the corruption in the country. You don't have to be, 10 years old to know that there's corruption in the country. Today, I wanted a meter in the house. I have to go through so many layers. I had to pay a lot of money to even get an invoice from Nawek. So, corruption wala banko kan sembo wata bakele, and if he has to, if he happens to be the elected president for the next 5 years, I think the key priority for me is to tackle that corruption. O corruption o nyanga nyanta wo jibelale I kuko koto dal. So I would say Baboucarr, depending on who you talk to, but I think most of them they all pass that qualifications. But again, politics Momo Nila desired, criteria. My criteria may not be the same as yours. But generally, I think, Gambia is a small country. All these people, you'll be qualified no like a banko samba, but for a desire sort of banka, make sure there is fair opportunity for everybody. There is social amenities for everybody. Banko ni yeta nyato, corruption o ji, walam problemoti.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Nyato Demanding, and ko diamu, Dr. Sisela ko, and my Ahmed Fati, bari nga jeli mbeke kang IEC tema, and in political parties or and the High Court. But more chamfele, the language of your choice. What type of a leader will you want, to run the country after December 4th? Looking into our problems and our successes for the past 5 years after Jammeh, we've seen what Adama Barrow have done. Will you want him to continue, or what type of a leader will you want the Gambia to have after December 4th?
Well, thanks for having me, Baboucarr. Sanna, Abenyade. Anyway, I've been following the program since it started, and I've listened to what Sanna had to say. The fact of the matter is, I'm not the one who is going to be choosing any leader, because unfortunately for me, I'm not voting. But I've had my own opinion about the whole thing. And if you ask me, I've had Sanna have already gone through all the candidates and then look at their credentials. But if you ask me, I have a different opinion about it, because for a country of that size, a country less than 2 million people, to still be living in abject poverty, especially the majority of the population, I think it's a shame. If you look at the population of Gambia, it's less than the population of London. It can actually go into London less than, more than 2 or 3 times. And for, let's say when did we get our independence? 1965, up to date, almost 50 something years. What have we achieved? And I don't want to be hearing people coming on board and telling me, oh, the First Republic was better, the Second Republic, oh yeah, I don't buy into those ideas. What I want to see in a leader now is a leader who has compassion. That's my criteria. And in compassion, I mean someone who feels sorry for people. You know what I mean? How come a country that got its independence 56 years ago still now cannot provide regular electricity to its citizenry? Water is still a problem. Almost everything is a problem in Gambia, a small country. So what we actually need now is a leader who feels what the people feel, who understands, who has empathy. The narrative now, throughout the campaign, you hear people going on about, oh, he is the most educated person, oh, running a country, you don't need Londo. It's not about Londo. It's not about your knowledge. It's about empathy. It's about understanding what your people feel and then having to sacrifice. How can you have, the most corrupt leaders, are actually the most knowledgeable. You look at, for instance, Mugabe. These guys were well educated. But what have they done? What have they achieved for their country? So it's got nothing to do with education. It's about how well you love your people. And it's all well and good and easy to just go around on a campaign trail and telling people, oh, I feel what you feel, I understand what you're I would make sure I do these things for you. But at the end of the day, it's just like trading business. Most of them would come and give you all these monies, but when they come to power, they take in 3 times more than what they've given you. You know what I mean? How long do we have to go? You know what I mean? I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, okay, I'm a failed generation. I'm part of a failed generation in Gambia. The people back before me are also part of a failed generation. What do we have to explain to our children? What do we have to explain to them? What can we tell them? You know what I mean? We were the ones voting for the ones who were there before. But one good thing, one positive thing that we had in the past couple of years, well, in 2016, is that we saw that we can actually vote people out. And that means if someone is there, incompetent, we can actually vote the person. We don't need to be giving people 2 terms or excuses. Oh, we need 2 terms to be able to finish our job. No, it shouldn't happen. What should actually happen is give any of these candidates 5 years, and if they're not performing, vote them out. And that's what we should be doing. We have to be brutally honest. It's a failure on all the 3 republics, and including Adama Barrow himself. It's a failure. What has he achieved?
But I was asking, what do you mean is a failure? Because they are saying he restored democracy, he allowed free press, freedom of speech. And when you say it's a failure, what do you mean?
Forget about democracy. Democracy in what sense? What has democracy done for us? You know, the thing with democracy, people always going about, oh, this is our rights system. People, you know, the problem we have as a country is we all love knowing about our rights, but we forget what our responsibilities are. So we all have rights. We can talk about rights, but no responsibility. You know what I mean? Now, you can have a democracy and say what you want to say, but you tell me, all what you hear this man talk about is infrastructural development. What do you need building roads for when people are starving to death? You know, when I was growing up, you know, you have 3 meals a day in your house, but nowadays, you know, Gambians, if you have lunch, your dinner and your breakfast, you need to go out and find it somewhere. It's not coming from the family because it's unaffordable. So if this man is busy building bridges, building roads, or building all these unnecessary buildings, or building empty hospitals and, you know, using it as a campaign to garner some votes, what's the point? What are you trying to tell me? What is the point? Having a good road, having an empty hospital, and unable to, and the general mass can't even have the basic needs. Water, you know, anywhere in Gambia, you dig 2 meters, 3 meters, you get a well. And for a country of that size, you still cannot provide water to people. What is he thinking about? So where is the development? And listen, this was meant to be a transitional government. It was meant to achieve some certain things. And the most important aspect of it, prominent among that, was to have reforms. But you look at all this, the TRRC, and you know, the constitutional, the Janet Commission,
the
CRC, all these things. You tell me which of these is a success. None of them is a success. It's all nonsense. It's all waste of money. Imagine the money that we spend on that constitutional review or whatever. You know, what could have that money done for some of the youths, for some of the other people? You know what I mean? I'm not here endorsing any candidate, but I'm looking at the Gambia as a Gambian, you know, living abroad. But I have family. I've got people living in that country, and I know people who are suffering. And this has been going on for so long. When is this going to stop? When do we have to stop? That's why I said we need a leader who is compassionate, who has empathy, who is also drastic in their approach. And drastic in approach means having to get rid of all this nonsense that we've been following for the past 56 years and has never worked, you know, and stop looking for grants and silly aids from these Western nations. I'm sorry to say, but I'm just very passionate about this topic because for 50 or something years, we've been failing and we're still going on about the same things. And we still have these leaders having the guts to stand in front of people and still keep on promising people every time. And most of these promises have never been fulfilled. I can't say anything about the opposition parties because they've never been given the opportunity yet. So I can't blame any of them. They have to have that opportunity for me to come out here and say, okay, they've also failed. But for the one who is there, the incumbent, listen, it's a total failure. And let people stop being fool about, okay, I bridge le lo molejan, I esansiriole lo molejan. It's all nonsense. Those are not important things. You need to sort out the most important thing, and that's the basic needs: your food, your shelter, and your clothing. And then whatever happens after that, then you know you can talk about it.
But people in the Gambia, most of the people sound different. Before I come to Sanna, Cham, people sound different here because you look into the campaign trail. He has a huge followers. You know, of course, there was a verbal agreement that he will come for 3 years and step down, but instead he went for a full term and now went ahead and formed his own political party. Now he wants a second term in office and he has a huge follow-up. So if you're saying this, it keep me asking myself, really?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Why not?
Listen, I've had Sanna, because this is who we are as a people. I've always been saying this. I've had Sanna going on. You've asked Sanna about the 20-something candidates that were vying for a position, for the highest position in Gambia, and that's the president. How many of them? 20 something for a voting population less than 1 million for 20 something candidates. That's not democracy. People should stop saying that's democracy. That's greed. That's selfishness on the side of our population, on the side of politicians. And not only politicians, this is who we are as a people. Because these are the people who represent us. These are the people who are a reflective image of who we are. Your leader, whether we want it or not, they reflect who we are as a person, who we are as a people. And we have to understand that. And who are the ones who are going to change this? It's the voters. You know, you can say anything you want to say. 23 candidates. And on top of that, one thing that no one seems to be talking about, we've got a party there, and among, in the name, I'm going to mention the name, is GAP itself, whose leadership have been involved in a lot of dodgy dealings.
GAP is like GAP.
No, it doesn't matter. And on top of that, they've come out, their candidate was also accused, but I don't know, I wouldn't even say accused, was, the IEC, lied to the court, and that guy is walking scot-free. That guy should actually be arrested. It shouldn't be happening for you. Ask Sanna, you live in the UK here. You can't go into places looking for jobs with fake documents. You're gonna get arrested for that. You're going to jail for that. Someone seeking for the highest office, in the country, is being allowed to walk scot-free, providing fake documents and getting away with it, and no one seems to be talking about it. And now, the so-called democracy you're talking about, now we've heard that the party owner, not actually the leader, actually has this, what's the name again? Dispatch the whole executive.
Yeah, dissolve them entirely.
Dissolve the whole executive. So what's going on? And this is it. That's what I'm saying. So forget about all this democracy thing, all these things. People think, we tend to define democracy at the most basic of level, and that means democracy is democracy man tamu wonya. It's not about democracy. It's about responsibilities, What are your responsibilities? Are you taking them? Are you doing them? Are you meeting all your responsibilities? And how many of them can say that? How many of them can stand up and say that? They are going all around the country, and then not actually, it's only few political parties that I've had actually passing on, proper messages, selling their agendas. But most of them are not. I've had Ahmad Ba talking a lot of nonsense. People are there. Elderly people leave all what they are doing to come and listen to what you want to do for them in the country.
The worst of it came last night from the religious advisor, the presidential religious advisor, Darboe by force. I think we have Mr. Bachili. Mr. Bachili, I hope you're not on the campaign trail. Good. I am live on air right now. Yes, and I'm happy to have you. I wasn't thinking I would have you, but how is the campaign? Let me ask first of all.
Right now, it's so noisy here. Can you call me like 5 minutes? Let me get out there so that I can talk to you properly.
No problem.
Because of the echoing, huh?
No problem. Yeah, but Bachili is gonna join us in 5 minutes. I was talking about Darboe by force. He's a presidential advisor on religious affairs, and there are certain words that he uttered yesterday. I'm not sure if you guys watch it, but I was like, oh my God, no, this will not come from a religious advisor. it was just so disappointing, and everybody is talking about this. It's not, we're not, they're not focused on politics of ideas and trying to sell their agenda to people. Instead, it's a politics of, it's just disappointing. Sanna, let me get Sanna to come now. Sanna, the way we are campaigning, the way we are trying to sell our agenda, is just uncalled for, and our leaders, are putting us in a mess. Everything have changed. The narrative have just changed. I've been in your nendirolum, your kajifolum, a jakala water.
Baboucarr jakalo wartal but jade bo fala kamera Mr. Cham Italy bajili so it's not me.
Bajili kanala ko gaso 5 minutes I think the molle basiari.
No, I'll be very happy to take him on, to be honest.
Okay. Anyway, Baboucarr, you are very right. I think it's very, very unfortunate. Completely out of touch. Completely, we are in the 21st century. We shouldn't allow our politicians to be dividing us. I've been saying this many times. We should do politics of policies, politics of hope. Politics of bringing together everyone. Gambia is a very, very small country. I think Cham has said that. A voter population of less than 1 million, and also total population of just over 2 million. Gambia is a very, very small, tiny country. Actually, to compare it with London, I don't think you are doing a favor to London. You probably would compare Gambia to, cities like Coventry, Newcastle, probably less. So America won't offer that. You understand that? So it's so unfortunate. You would never see, even a mere African country now, a politician wouldn't stand trying to bring one ethnic minority or one ethnic group against another ethnic group. We should graduate from that completely. It is so unfortunate, shameful, disgraceful. I can't even find enough words to describe what was said by Darboe by force last night. I watched it, I couldn't complete watching it, Baboucarr, seriously, because I think, this is what we fail to have in Gambia. The problem with it. Ndola leader right now are so focused on how, being election of win by any means. But Nentamun presidential advisor, I would have called this man on the side. I would have even stopped him. But stop lale, how does it benefit anybody? Tell me, any presidential aspirant, yetara loring, yetara siring, ila key advisor ka law, pitting one ethnic group against another ethnic group. How does that benefit you? Because Darboe is saying this. If anything, is disdain about testing of politics about Manendikane. We have had politics of bad taste for quite a long time, and we wanted to graduate from that. And this is one of the reasons why the message has been coming out. Just yesterday, Islamic Gambia Islamic what do you call them? Supreme Islamic Council, sorry, and Gambia Christian Council came together, to forge hands and send this message out of peace, tolerance, during these elections. But then again, that same day, you have somebody who is paid by the Gambian taxpayers standing there, not preaching that peace, but preaching what? Division. Preaching what? One ethnic group against another ethnic group. That is very, very shameful. I think the president I don't see the president doing it because it appears as if the president is very desperate now to get more votes. So I don't see him, talking to his advisor. But in Nentamu Ateti, maybe follow on the microphone, Ndela Campaigno is not about ethnic groups. Ndela Campaigno is about Gambians, Al-Katri Fainye, Nale Katri Fainye. This is what I'm going to do for you. You understand? But when you have parties that don't sell their manifestos, that don't sell their agendas to people, they then resort to all kinds of politics. And then they can dirty politics. You understand? Ngamin blame imam political strategies also, because to have a political strategist that will help you never follow a campaign. We have seen many times president wala ala convoy and president wala ala campaign team ni lota on the stage ila message nimbuka Sanna Ahmad Bayakela several times, and Gambian could be complain about it. Among Ahmad Badam Mati, Han President of recently, just 2 days ago, he was talking about the late mother of the former president. I think that was very distasteful. You can't talk about somebody who we are all praying. Let her rest in peace. While she is resting in peace, you are bringing that topic back. And secondly, that has some diplomatic, aspect of it. You're talking about other presidents, what you have discussed with them. They had to go through the president of Ghana, president of Nigeria, president of this country, Dani, but the former president didn't allow other corpses to be brought back into the country. So I could have refused, and that was completely unnecessary. I don't see the need for that when you are selling your agenda. So Baboucarr mimbe je drum wolam ko niye political parties so mi alon ko agenda sort of that they want to sell that agenda to Gambia. Then the message becomes focused. You focus ila message la ya itandiko lafta aliye nyine la moy nakumoto lafta nyine lola aliye lafta nyine kala chambe mil fokandum. Civil service reform is number 1 in Gambia. It's overdue, completely overdue. Security sector reform is completely overdue. You understand?
Yeah, but I can also say
Amira Baboucarr Tatale. Cham, do you want to
continue? No, continue.
Okay. So what I was trying to say is that security service reform is completely overdue.
Up country, coming down, talking to people about security sector reform, it's a failure. After 4 years, it's a total failure.
Exactly, Baboucarr. Exactly. Thanks that you are back. So your sectoral budget, sectoral reform in the Gambia is completely overdue. And then corruption on info previously. I can't emphasize that enough, Baboucarr. I can't emphasize corruption and bribery in the Gambia enough because it's killing the entire economy. The Gambia domestic economy about killing completely. People don't have confidence. I mean, just take an example. If you go to Cham today and say to him, you have 5,000 on your saving bank account. Do you want to invest it in Gambia? It will take him nothing less than 3-4 months to think about what even to invest in. Because he doesn't have the confidence to bring that. In fact, you can't even put the money in the bank today in a room on the streets of Gambia because you are scared you are scared to death. Seriously. So, security sector reform manke, and there's no proper effective security in the country. And then secondly, corruption is allowed, is normalized. Everyone is allowed to do it. As long as you don't go openly telling people corruption all that. But you are allowed to take whatever you are allowed to take it. I heard the former president saying for 5 years Adama Barrow hasn't taken anyone to court for corruption. Adama Barrow from Fintita, the current president, came out and said Nani evidence sort of bring him to me, I will take him to court.
How many evidence? How many evidence do you want?
But why would the president even expect people to bring culprits and evidences to him? Why do we have to do that? Whose job is that? I mean, you are telling me to outsource your job to us, but yet you are going to take the money, you are going to take all the credit, but you want to outsource your job to us. That's not possible. So Baboucarr is a massive failure. The mobile force in Minke was completely beyond the red line, and it should be called out. I think many Gambians have reacted to it very badly. I don't know whether he has had that. Sometimes we talk over the social media, and then the message doesn't get to the right people. People should call this out. You are tribal, and your negative tribalism will stay in your own home. It's not going to go beyond your house. Gambians are not going to accept that.
That's very true. And not only Dembo by force, atare for the kunum, but meta moidale for the past. And in the campaign you be atara nata, wolom, and it is just unfortunate, and then we are preaching peace. We want a peaceful elections, but nyanta ka jena nyaton kolle to force Italy nyanta cap, ka showcase so that their followers can follow suit. But it's just unfortunate. The next thing is the issue of 6 presidents.
Just in case you have you have Bachili on the call, please remember to ask him about that clip from Dembo by Force. Please.
Yeah. No,
Yes,
I want to comment in that again, because that's what I was saying about welcoming for democracy, and I call it selfishness and greed. Because greed leads you to do anything, whether legal or illegal. It actually leads you into anything. And wala na kamolje is a more fun only because of Kodo. And that's what these guys are doing exactly now. You know, and the other thing I spoke about is empathy, compassionate. But look at what happened during the nomination. Adama Barrow is president. On the same day that they were having a nomination, Munekada, Palamol Milkabon and Sando, Dolman Bank, Siloka.
That accident.
Imagine, could you imagine? Dates to Gambia, Nakala de Nitidemel, De Lalawa, just an individual. I'm not even talking about one or two people. One individual passed away. You still have the audacity to go and continue doing your campaign when you fully know that there is a family who are actually, crying over their dead bodies. And you are standing in a campaign talking about nonsense. Actually nonsense, because Fennemam Foje, Mialonko was actually important. Because all I heard about was those so-called political advisors standing and that's what I'm saying. And that's also part of the disrespect they have towards people. Because imagine Keba Bola or Quintala Swokona Aina, Abesiring, listening to what you want to offer to them. And all you do is talking about Sunwine, they don't organize party put back, they know all this nonsense. When people are at home, they are at home, it all catela more body. And among the natural death, it happened because they were coming to support you. And that's why I'm always saying, you mean politician or normal and then trying to kill themselves. I feel sorry for you. You have to be very careful. Because these people, most of them are very, very selfish.
I think it's high time na gelegele bula bena chino learning asobil, and open our eyes.
But I have to give credit. To Mama Kande, because ate kabring atata fana minul banta last kunungko ngate moida is cancelling that campaign on that day. So they are not going on campaign on that day. So they are actually going to the family, and then they will meet the family, which is very good. And that's compassionate, because you feel they are part of you. But the only thing President Barrow did was just stood in front of the culprit and then say what he has to say. Oh, we are sorry, but ite fama maluka lomo nyala ka tumoleko o nyinol banda silo kanne mba ala danela le tenente, and then you continue talking. You should be ashamed. You should have call of that, and then yela motota with your ministers or whoever, and then go. But the problem with him is, you guys are talking about all these things. The guy I've always said is a novice among experienced, and people are saying, oh, now he's getting experience. No, but even I experienced, remember, he is surrounded by sharks. These are very experienced politicians, very, very experienced politicians. And what we tend to do, and what they tend to do, these are the same people with some part of the population, who turned these people into dictators, who turned this president into dictators. And when they start killing and arresting and torturing our people, we start, and now we start fighting again. You know what I mean? I've listened to some of these campaigns. When? It was a couple of days ago, in Farafenni, or whether it was in Farafenni or somewhere, when he was boasting about how he stopped the 3 years journey, and all these people start singing and drumming and say, "Ya bari dole."
Yeah. I think that was too much. That was extreme.
Just because he's the head of a state, Amangke Mansati, he is a president. Amangke Mansati, President Olom. You know, the powers are different. This guy is there to serve us. Ndole ka jo na tax, mulla kodo wole ka jo. So he amam simbo soto handula. But nal de wobula kana kungo kono. Ki dafa am dole. And then he start, thinking. The next couple of years, he be thinking, yeah, I actually have power. And he would start using that same power on the population. And what are we going to do now? That's what we did to Jame. And here we are now, we've got all these PRRCs and all these things wasting money again. Is that the trajectory we're heading to again now? You know, people should be very, very careful. Let's not give powers to these people that they don't deserve. They don't have any powers. They are there to serve the population. We are spending a lot of our taxpayers' money on these people, and they are doing anything with it, whatever they want to do with it, and they're still trying to do whatever they want to do on us. And this has to stop. People have to be very careful.
I'll come back to you. Let me come back to Sanna now. Sanna, the issue of the IEC, there are a lot of questions. More when karo ke kang jakalo do jakalta ka fuko IEC la ko najele minkira 2016 iko mistake ole ketanong abina banko be jakasila nyokono afele ko tenke ye party fulaban mi mu GMC my party la party and Citizens Alliance Dr. Sise wole samba kiti dorato kiti kabrin kiti ote eko IEC man la rights ro pour que ban ñente murid la jere bari nga fana nje ana U-turn last minute mi keta IEC ko ba ko ñing appeal lale ñin dum ko di ate mo silande la kata election do pour resolve la ko so that min keta 2016 kana repeat 2021.
Baboucarr Barakabak, thank you very much for that question. I think IEC on this whole process, IEC one tend to wonder whether IEC is fit for purpose. Tell a personal opinion or IEC man fit for purpose in this 21st century politics. IEC needs massive investment in infrastructure, need investment in resources. Capacity building is very needed in IEC. Technologically, IEC needed to up their game. I mean, expectations on these elections is over, on top of the roof. And one thing that IEC cannot afford to lack is the confidence of the ordinary Gambian citizens. Gambian ul nyanda confidence of la IEC to la B, nyanda jiko soto la ko menganyeta wala be kumandila and the results ul kata nyaming anyanda kumandila wala nyama. Gambian ko be siring ibela muy kang IEC be munafola ning carte of fighter. So IEC B isulata minna walam ko Gambian ko le confidence soto Gambian ko le jiko soto ko e carte di minna wala be ganyela. Okay, so nanata ye mil banteng case ning mang exactly very, very clear, but IEC mean for walam ko nil mang enough votes enough nomination also to Banjul as an administrative region, among enough number of votes so that they mean along ko yela vote bila pour que nominate. I understand. So what I had to reject, but then going back to CA and GMC will be what happened was that Milta Wolfanaye and other political party choose or they have nominated other political parties. But IEC now, this parties what they said was, how do you choose other parties over us? Let's say, for example, party has signed for UDP, but then party again signed for GMC. Why did IEC choose to take party signature to UDP and take it off GMC? What mechanisms were in place? Is it because party has signed for UDP first and then to GDC? In that case, the second one was removed. But woman clear, IEC didn't make that clear. IEC just went ahead and strike these people off. I don't know why they did that. But personally, in IEC, they needed some capacity building. IEC needed infrastructural development. IEC is, as it stands now, is not
it's not fit for purpose. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And secondly, remember Kering Walamko, I mean, to tabulate election results on an Excel sheet. Baboucarr, if you give me one I mean, I only need 1 hour for Excel sheet of the day. You understand? So that when you plug them in, automatically it will calculate itself. It's not an excuse. It's not acceptable. Kurundanga Sijang, I see a call in Kuntawur administrative area. Our tabulation was wrong. I mean, everyone has right to complain and to not accept the results if a mistake like what happened in 2016 should happen again. So to me, it's not acceptable. It's a no-go area. We shouldn't even be talking about it. It's so scary that IEC are going to make that error. But I am telling you, it's a no-go area for me. IEC manyana kasi yemira ko mistake of makela. I repeat la kotenke and ngaji ko sotola ko wata repeat la kotenke. But at the same time, I have my skepticism. Ngalong ko IEC mang, you know, for me, they are not fit for purpose. Ngamira new government in Bina, and IEC revamp completely. Then they inject more resources into IEC. Can make sure you know yellow doku ka nyama.
Okay, Cham, your take on the IEC with 4 days to go.
Totally agree with Sanna. Totally agree with Sanna. Actually, they are the most incompetent body in Gambia. Very, very useless. And the problem is, I'm really worried. And I'm not worried about the political parties. I'm worried about IEC. Gambia, Gambia problem also. Election or corner, 2016, it was IEC because of that mistake that they made, and then came out after. Could you imagine? Came out and admitted to their mistakes. Come on, the total vote was not even more than 800,000 or whatever. If you can't count, if you are going to be missing numbers within that figure, then my friend, you have a problem. And that's why I'm really worried for this election. I'm not worried about the political parties. I think the political parties most of them would, if they lose their election, they will actually admit it. But my problem is IEC. And what has happened with CA and GMC is actually opening a can of worms. And that means any of these political parties who lose the election can actually say, okay, I'm taking this to court again. And chances are they might end up winning it. And that's causing chaos in the country because the incompetence within that organization. Listen, people don't want to say, and we have respect for our elders, but the head of that organization should be retired. And that's the fact. You know what I mean? He is the head of the organization. Is he making those decisions? Is he able to perform to the best of his ability, week in, week out, day in, day out? I don't know. I'm not sure. And at that age, it's going to be hard. The focus might not be there. And that's where the problem starts. We need to get this sorted. I know people will say it might be late, but I'm genuinely worried that this IEC would be the problem for Gambia. They've already done it 2016, and I wouldn't be surprised. And because of what has happened, like I said, with C and GMC, now, I'm telling you, at the back of the mind of most of these opposition parties, or even the incumbent, they might be thinking, you know what, I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to go to court again if we don't win this, because I'm confident enough. Because what's happening now, Gambia, everyone is already has started gauging their chances of winning, and that is they're gauging it through crowds, which is absolutely bonkers. I don't even know how.
The crowd competition.
Exactly, and it's easy to pull crowds in Gambia. You can't base these things on crowds, because all you need to do to pull a crowd in Gambia is any form of drumming, any form of food being provided, T-shirts, drinks. You are definitely going to attract anyone. And there are people, any T-shirts you give them, they wear. You know what I mean? But you can't, you know, it's no one knows who is going to win this. Everyone would be able to pull a crowd. But at the end of the day, that's not important. It's not about the crowds. It's about how competent that IEC is. And with what's been happening lately, I'm definitely not sure. I'm really, really, I'm really, really fearful. And I hope I'm wrong, but it'd be hard for someone to place their belief in those guys, because I, for one, don't have any belief whatsoever. And regardless of what happened, and what they've done to CA again and rejecting them again, I think that's just their ego. I don't think it's because of competence. It's just ego. They don't want to be seen as incompetent. So CA has won their case from the court, and they came back and then been refused again. It's just ego. They don't just want to accept it.
Absolutely. I want us to make headway, to move quickly to other matters. Someone is just asking me what exactly, he says he's lost. What did exactly Darboe Bifo said? It's a very short speech, I think 55 seconds. Let me play it quickly, then we move on. Yeah, I think yes.
Ni umani kon so neke sose ke mani ke kaw na la ka sose di go yinom Gambia du aha ki we do Gambia fulo global kunto polina en bani sun boba dola lo global kunto dola en bani sun boba sere do global kunto sere en bani sun boba karon du gol bul baba karon ni kay tamit non ni fo da president Adama Barrow sun ñaage Adama Barrow ben fo ñele bulu ko do dinañ sun boba sun loxo bo xamne Jolal se ci ak day kam ta bamba jolay dinañ wala dire degu flor mu mela be bere flo ni kala atu ba kala poli yeb dinañ gadu sen ay bagage bay de jolal yi bar pag la de boy pam jolay dinañ len pag ngeen gëna ci si aussi ni man ke padi ko he bu ne ka sonna ku te sos nim foto Adama Barrow suñ ñake Adama Barrow albe ba la flo ni kala
Okay.
Absolute nonsense. I don't care.
Yeah, that's just too much.
This is very disgraceful.
This is from a presidential advisor on religious affairs.
Yeah, if you imagine,
it's very disgraceful. Actually, I didn't even get to that point. I decided, you know what, I'm not going to listen to this guy. But hearing what the ending was, in fact, I mean, sometimes we underplay this kind of languages. But if you read about, I had a book here called Rwanda Incorporation. This is about Rwanda problemo started nyami. The genocide, the way genocide was even the end. The problem was there for a long time, and then all of a sudden, genocide on national. So, Mayor Rwanda, of course, was even many people believe was through journalism and information on not passing. But this one is far more serious than that. Okay, because to say ko Jolal Bimba Gambia, Wolbe Gambia Bulalale Yeta, where are they going? To say ko Fulol Bimba Gambia, Wolbe Gambia Bulalale Yeta, Fulol Bitaminto, Fulol Miyalonko, they were in the Gambia since the formation of Gambia. Jolal Miyalonko, they even own Foni. When you talk about Foni, Gambia Mobe Alonko, they predominantly Jolal Sirinji, and proudly so, because it will never Sirinji for years and years and years. For as long as we know Gambia of Gambia. So where are they going to go? I mean, in quality. Okay, Cham Musuruality. Baboucarr perhaps it Musuruat. Am I better Gambian than you just because we are different ethnicities? How does that happen? I mean, long, okay? Until we are younger generation, that's true. But so let's not allow politics to bring this kind of division. Actually, I'm not going to move with this guy because it's different ethnic group to me. It never happens. You understand? So, proof being a C, nta momin John na banku kodola, nka John na namu kodola, ntolle ka jo, ntolle ka doku wake, nga kodo nika nga diala. Welo B, akafanyo ko, nengin dol ganyeta, fulol be fintila nyim banku kanne, Jolal be fintila nyim. If it happened to I think the question to him should be, this is the failure of Gambian journalism, Baboucarr. And now, in the morning, first thing in the morning, you know, Korda Bunda Fala, Ikafamia Paparazi, Cham Franinka. Ibala Korda Bunda surround like just want to have a word with him. What do you mean? What you said yesterday? Afumolia by mean. This is the problem I have with Gambian journalism. Go chase this guy, go after this guy. Let him clarify what he meant. Otherwise, we will just talk about this and then let it go. And once we let it go, someone else will feel comfort knowing fully well that they will talk about it 2 days and then that's it. It's gone. No, shouldn't be like that. Journalists should go after this guy. If it is considered as a hate speech, the police should invite him to the stage. It doesn't matter who you are, whether it's my father or it's anybody's father. It doesn't matter who the person is. Gambia is bigger than every individual, each and individual Gambian today. Gambia is bigger than you. So it shouldn't be accepted. You understand? So it's very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate, disgraceful to say the least, you know, and history will judge this kind of people. I mean, it's been said across everywhere. It's on social media, it's in the cloud. People will come back to this and say, this is what our forefather or our father, Darboe by force, said in a given political rally. So very unfortunate, Baboucarr.
Very, very unfortunate.
I just add, and it's very true. Sanna, I think he should be arrested for hate speech. If it was hate, he would be arrested for, because that's hate speech, you know, because there is no evidence to what he's saying, and it's all based on assumptions, and it's baseless. And this just shows how desperate they are. Desperate times, again, calling for desperate measures. So they would come up with all their nonsenses out there just to get votes, you know what I mean? And that is very daft of them. That would never get you votes, because if you're talking about me, I'm like Sanna for but in the Kuluta Manding Kolefon. Ni the Surwal Bondela Gambia, Intella Mandinka Dingol or Namandinka Musol Nimo the Kelanyadi. How are you going to separate it? That's how intertwined we are. That's how we are in the Gambia. So moment yana sonna, I mean Sanna is true. You know, you guys as the journalists should actually go and chase that guy. You should harass him to get a word out of him. Next time at a wofala. You know what I mean? These are people who are already failed us. These are the failed generation. I look at these people as a failed generation. As much respect I have for our elders, but they fail us. They fail us. You know, me and Sanna, all these people have you think who should be you know, people start blaming governments and all these things. But how many of our youths are dying in dinghy boats trying to make it to the source of Europe or Australia? Who should be blamed for this? It's the people who voted them in and keep voting them in. You know, for 30-something years, you've been voting the First Republic. 20-something odd years, you've been voting the same president, thinking he's doing a good job because he's building some stupid arch and some silly roads here and there. And then people are saying, oh, yeah, university you know, Banco Mianco still now, like I said, still now. Electricity. Banco Jumale, Ekata Banco Jumale to sign. Mianco electricity on and off like a flashing torchlight. Like, could you imagine? Bandiol and nonsense will be in Bekekanji. But you still, Ebe Lampol Malala, Eba Fala, Eba Malala, Eba Fala. Sign war from a book of Geo, could you imagine Geo? Even war-torn countries, they still have water. War-torn countries. You go to Syria, you go to Yemen, they still have water. Gambia is actually ranked third if you look at the people who are using the battery, and we are 2 million people. Ranked third. For Banco Follow Mimbe, they are all fighting. Until we call ourselves the most peaceful country, is the so-called smiling coast. People are not smiling. People are suffering there. You know, and they try to sell these ideas to tourists, oh, the smiling coast of Gambia. We are not smiling. Let that sink in. Let them know that people are not smiling.
Okay.
But if you have a tourism minister that useless who is singing presidents, following everyone and saying all that nonsense, That's where we are.
Sanna, if you had the opportunity today to talk to Gambians ahead of December 4th, Saturday, what will be your advice to them before they cast their vote? Who should they give their vote to? No names, but what type of a leader would you want them to give their vote to for their own benefits?
Baboucarr, I think Dami Majang is even the most important since this conversation started. You know, between now and Saturday is literally what? You know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days. Kilisaba. Kilisaba, and you are determining the future of yourself, your child, perhaps your mom, perhaps your dad, perhaps your grandparents, you know, perhaps your unborn kids. You are determining the future of them. Okay? We do not have a perfect leader. There is no perfect leader in the Gambia right now. Okay? There is no top-notch leader. Me alonko kabira imate kabira diamondo ronko pum, that's number one. You understand? Omantara Gambia. Okay? We have what we have, and we have to go by what we have. Okay? Now, they are not perfect people. They are human beings like me and you. They are just trying I give credit to the police people. The only credit I give them is this fact that they have, you know, taken a brave decision to come out with all the insults that were directed at them, you know, having their families listen to those insults. You know, I wouldn't want to take that. So I give them credit for that. However, what I don't give credit is if you don't have an agenda to sell to people, all you resort to is, you know, discussing about people's personalities. I don't want to hear that. Okay, so Gambian call, I mean, these 3 days is very, very important. And on that Saturday, that faithful Saturday is the most important in Gambian calendar in this last 5 years. Okay, so Nijada Purkila Kateo 5. You think, and think again. Don't be emotional. Okay? Think about what this means. Your one single vote, what it means. The sum total of all the votes will determine exactly who is going to win. However, your one vote is a variable in that sum total. So think and think and think. Kana karte finding Jusola, karte finding Hakilola. Eka min tombong imira bake. Nka min tombong. I mean, for Adama Barrow, for the president, everybody know he's the incumbent. And Mobe Alamunebe in Gambia. If you are happy with what is happening in the Gambia today, among bulu kudimi alonka kolealam banko bitaka nyami man alike banko bitaka nyami ite amira abete atale isa karrefa Adama Barrow. Banim banko bitaka nyami aman diete ndu lafta falngoyeke dan imanya naka karteo di president. Okay? Bari imari nyante miralale sinya jama ibe karteo di la jumala mi yalonko ala police ni ayete nyabole ala tammin kala banko kan nasira ayete nyabole mi yalonko ay mol sotole ya moy cham ya fu jang ako mol mi be siring Adama Barrow dala they are sacks. You understand? Wala munti wala ni nyebal min katara bakono ikatara fawol mutale boy capture. You understand? Mol be Adama Barrow dala mi yalonko mantara Adama Barrow ma fu kan hani domandi andum ni jamala soto Gambia. They are so self-centered. Their interest in the mic or the marriage. The moment you get to power, you know, and then they promote you as if you are the Messiah. You know, kill from anywhere. You understand? So, in the hakilo to minna because nimmo sifal ni sutiata minna drunk amari buka succeed no. You understand? So Gambian ko ndebe min advisement dile la wala ni tara pour ka karteo fay imira sinya jama ikela sama le determine idimol la sama idimol mi mawulu folon wara ifama nyol wara ibama nyol. Very recently ngamoy president of Indita ko tibabu nun call, you know, many along ko katra social media, perhaps me and you control be series social media. We don't have series social media mantra dokula. We can't even build a chicken house in the Gambia. Baboucarr is very, very sad. I don't want to concentrate on it. I don't want to focus on it. But it's very, very sad. Right now, I don't have to say this, but I am trying to build a house in Gambia. How many people am I giving employment in the Gambia today? Just to do roofing for my house is costing me over $500,000. How many people in Gambia are going to benefit from that and their families? Just because I came to social media, criticize the government rightfully for them to do the right thing, and then you term me as somebody aimless sitting on social media criticizing the president. We have to graduate from this. And I would implore any Gambian to make sure be it who, even myself, president, okay? Try to find out what I'm doing and criticize me if I do wrong. It doesn't matter what I say. We Gambians have to come to that. We would put spotlight on you. If you don't do right, we will say it. It doesn't matter who it is. Until and unless Gambian president so ndeba folaliye na taraka katre fay alimira la samala alla dimbayal anem mo bila sama akana di kateo di mola mi alonko almanjigi ko aballa baluwo falindila alla baluwo be nyame akoleata bakele mo be al na Gambia la baluwo mandra diarim bi prices will have increased monumentally, skyrocketed price level Gambia everywhere. Corruption is just rampant everywhere. So while dan la nabe katre fayla al katre fayingal hakilo la kana final disola.
Okay. Cham, you want to add on that? Also, what kind of a leader?
Obviously, what we can more way the Bulusane follow like more way what has been happening. If you're going to vote, don't vote based on sentimentality. Kana juwe ko nyimu badi multi or we are from the same tribe or whatever, because whatever goes we fail the next the older generation have failed us. And then I'm not changing my opinion. Whether people like it or not, I'm not changing my opinion on it. And this present generation, you're the one who are probably going to be very much into this, especially the young people. If majority of Gambians the majority of the population is youth, you should take matters in your own hands. Because most of you, the way you lack of jobs, lack of employment and all these things. So it is high time for you to go there and then vote for the person that you think would change the situation in the Gambia, would change the situation. And I mean drastic changes. I don't mean coming I'm not talking about those things. I mean proper changes. The Gambia should go past this stage where we are, like I said, we've been so-called independent for more than 50 or something years, and still now we are still in the doldrums. There is no changes in that country, and that needs to change. And remember, if you vote based on sentimentality, you owe it to the next generation. You have an explanation to do. Alonko, voting is a right, but alonko abefanang itening alalatem. Because if you just vote because of Sanna Munnatirality is my friend, and I know Sanna is not capable of doing the job, you would be answerable to vote for that, because this is about who is the right person to take the country forward. Nimbanko bedeare, nimbanko tatanyato, atatan so it shouldn't be based on friends, it shouldn't be based on tribes, it shouldn't be based on anything. And the other thing is, like Sanna explained, I'm not just talking about the NPP. It's almost all the parties. And most of them, they have their so-called degrees. If you need a degree, you cannot even go and be smart enough to find a job for yourself. But all you need is to run around leaders and then looking for jobs when they come into power. And everywhere, all of these parties that you go to, you see them. They are always mostly the loudest, because they are the empty barrels. They make the most noises. You know what I mean? And we have to be careful with these people, because they are very selfish. They go. How many parties have actually joined NPP now? And all of these guys were the same people who were castigating the president. What has changed within these 1 week or 2 weeks? I know they are insignificant numbers, to be honest. They don't make any difference. These are power-hungry people. They're just interested in positions.
Well,
What is
my bachelor have run away. I've been calling like for the past 20 minutes.
Yeah, because it's got no argument, to be honest. You know what I mean? You know, I know we have to respect each other, you know, but what I'm trying to say is, I mean, what is Bachili going to add to NPP? What is NRP, which doesn't even exist as a party? It's actually one of the most useless parties in Gambia. Like, what are they offering? You know what I mean? And they've all joined this guy in the name of a coalition. You know what I mean? And NRD or NARD or whatever. That guy who was working for Barrow came out. I've listened to most of his either press conferences or interviews where he castigated Barrow being unfit. Well, after a week of being disqualified, you go flying in. What is that all about? If that is not selfish and greed, what do you call that? You know, if you are against the president, then go and join the opposition to change the regime. Well, you can't be castigating him, because I've never had him anywhere where he castigated the UDP or any other party or any other opposition party. But you're castigating someone, and then just because you fail and you think in your head, you think, oh, they might win, so let me just jump ships. Now, these are the people, unfortunately, who might be the one in charge of our affairs of the country. Do you have any confidence in this kind of people? No. What are they going to change? Nothing. Because these are, you know, rank and files. They've got no ambitions. Their only ambitions is to better themselves. Because if they were not selfish and they genuinely want regime change, they would be joining the opposition and get rid of the regime. And that's the thing. And we have to remember, because of these, there is no 50 plus 1%. You know, it's probably going to be another minority government, and that means majority of the Gambians would not have supported the government that might be in place, and that in itself is a problem. Now, you tell me, Sanna, you know, which coalition government have you ever seen, a successful coalition government? You've seen it. Britain more organized than we are, but you've seen what happened with the Lib Dems and the Conservative. It was a failure, catastrophic. What are the chances we have if you have all those so-called coalitions? Because every one of them would be expecting a ministerial position or whatever. And that's why they join. It's as simple as that.
I was saying the same thing. You know, most of these parties that come to join, or these individuals that join Barrow, you know, you look into their fan base. How many people do they have? What are they really aiming for? Ambassadorial role, or a minister, or maybe a mayorship, or a governor? I don't know. But honestly, they don't even kind of pull you, you know, 2,000, 5,000 supporters. So it's just a so-called coalition to me.
It's family parties. But what I'm saying to people is be careful, vote, and remember these votes. These are rights, but then remember what your responsibilities are. These are rights that are given to you, and it's only given to a Gambian, because you're a Gambian. You are going there to represent people. So you cannot just go there and be selfish. And if you go and vote based on sentiment, based on being a relative or a tribe or whatever, remember then you owe it to Gambians. You know what I mean? You owe an explanation to Gambians, because that's what has been happening for the past generation. And that's why we've been failing, because we have been voting for the wrong people in office and continue voting for them, and they continue failing us. You know, and I don't understand. But what I said is, what gave me a bit of hope is the 2016 election. But then you can still argue we were so knackered, so tired. We just wanted to get rid of the dictator, because we've been butchered, we've been killed, we've been tortured, and we just wanted to get rid. But then we at least saw the capability of getting rid of a president, a sitting president, especially in Africa, by voting. And that's possible as well. And that's the only hope. And that's what I'm saying. If we're going to go to the votes, make sure if we get someone a chance and we are not satisfied, never ever listen to these silly rhetorics that they come about. Oh, we don't 5 years. No, there is no chance for them. Vote them out and get someone else in. If that person didn't perform, vote them out and get another person in. And then maybe along the line, we'll get someone who is capable of ruling out.
No, but just to comment quickly, Baboucarr, I think is very important. I know what Cham just said now. Keep changing government until you get the right person. In fact, when you get the attitude of changing leaders, the leaders know that they are accountable because they know if I don't do the work properly, they will get rid of me. So because of that, they will try to do as much as they can. Okay, but some of these parties or preemptive political parties, or many alonko, they just pretend to be a political party when you know even your own home you don't have all of them behind you. You know that your house perhaps maybe one of your child is supporting you, the rest are not even supporting you, and then you form a political party or you form an independent just to get an ambassadorial role. Baboucarr Kana Ojeteng, they are not paid more than you. I am telling you, they are not paid more than you. What they know is that Nimo position soto, mbe korda lola nole, mbe murla mbe kodo sunyala no, nga mbe kodo soto la kendeke from illegal means. Seriously, these people are not paid more than you, Baboucarr. Go and check the salaries of ambassadors and deputy ambassadors. You understand? You will be disappointed. But the same people, they build a very big story building. So because they know masakunda kono, mbe sunya roke la nole, mbe kodo sot la no burunga na mul makoy. Wala yatine ka dungo sifa kono. They have no ambition to become a president. They have no ambition to fight. A political party is meant to fight, not physical fight, but fight for your people, fight for the right of your people. Stand to make sure that your people are having the rights that they deserve from their government. You understand? But not a civilized person here, you can have social media here and there, give a press conference, and you are off. In the ops, but you are doing this for your own personal gain so that you can have your ambassador to Dubai, to China, to Russia, then you can go to beyond that, they are not doing it for any gain because they know even invest in the Gambia, make $10,000 a month is better than Kadum Kataka ambassador to Russia. But no, they know that when they go to Russia, they can do corruption with entities in Russia. They want to come and invest in Gambia. They take lots of money from them. I'll get you the permit. I'll get you licenses operate in Gambia. I'll get you that, and then they speak to somebody in the president's office or somebody in the courts. I'll give you $25,000. Get this permit approved. Get this license approved. Get these people the business registration documents. I'll give you this amount. This is all what they do. You understand? The system of falling. Now make sure everything at any stage is monitored properly. You don't law it a because they will know there is no gain for me. You understand? I just wanted to buttress on that, Baboucarr.
Sure. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Unless you guys have something that we've left behind, and the focus would be on the Gambians. You guys are away, but your families are back home. And it's important that, they give their votes to somebody that, at least will change the narrative. If they think Barrow have done enough, no problem. Let's give him our vote. If they think he could have done more but did not, and somebody better out there, can give us what we want. Our basic necessities as Gambians are still lacking. Saturday we'll say it all, December 4th. Unless you have one or two things to say before we wrap up quickly.
Quickly, Baboucarr, give us your assessment. You are on the ground. Tell us what is happening.
Well, I've come 2016, and I was, I've been away for almost a month. I've not been following the campaign. All I'm doing is following social media, Facebook to see what they're saying. But I can tell you, I'm disappointed with the campaign trail, particularly with two parties, NPP, UDP. Most of their, their rallies, all that I'm seeing, December 4th, instead of coming out and tell us, these are the plans I have if I win, this is what I want to improve on, this is what, we cannot stand as, as alone, as a country, honestly, as we speak, without donor partners, without Senegal coming invading everything here, without selling half of our country to the Chinese. I want all of this to change, But I'm not saying Barrow got it all right. He made a lot of mistakes, and he cannot do it all. He said it when he was coming at the beginning that, I know nothing about presidency. I'm a businessman. He deals with real estate companies. You know what I mean? He's surrounded by people that have been there for decades. People that have worked with Jawara, that have worked with Jammeh, and they know the system more than Barrow. And honestly, if you ask me, not a journalist, but as a Gambian, out of 100, I will give him 30. So that tells you there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But it's left to Gambians to decide. I have a vote that I will cast. I can't wait to be back home. And yeah, Gambians, if we really want to continue with this trend, or if we want to bring in somebody else that will come up, to change the narratives, we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go, because the way I'm seeing people do their campaign, the way I'm seeing people coming out to follow these political parties on their gele-geles, on their asobis, on their benechins, we have a long way to go. That's my personal opinion on all this campaign and elections thing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The only thing is, I think UDP is actually better. Not that I'm supporting them or whatever, but at least what you hear through the narratives you've been hearing, and I've listened to one or two things. I know there is still an attack, but you expect that. You always expect personal attacks in politics. But at least you've always had the 5-point agenda, and they've tried explaining this in their campaign.
I must say, their media team, the UDP media team, they're just awesome. They're just awesome.
Exactly.
Forget about what their politicians are saying.
Yeah.
The media team have done a great job.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. But what I'm saying is, what is NPP? Is it the NDP or whatever they call it? I don't know. I don't even know what it's all about. All I've seen is throughout their campaign is either attacking this or the president defending this and the other things. But all in all, the nomination, I was very happy that at least a bit of sanity has been restored in our politics after getting rid of all those political opportunists. Trying to get a position or a place, getting rid of them, and we don't want to see them for the rest of our lives again. I don't care. People will say, "Oh, they have a chance in 2026." I think if you fail from the onset, you should be banned for life. You shouldn't be coming back, because there are many competent Gambians. Honestly, no, it's not about being a dictator. It's not. We have to be realistic. Gambia sign batatale. For that stage, you mean to sign. Kamasla was people what a banko sambangola. We for that stage when them be developed. We want our children to grow up in that country. Look at Rwanda and don't name Rwanda let's say, because I don't count the First Republic. Let's say 94 to date. They're putting us to shame. You know what I mean? And they don't have a so-called well-educated leader that we aspire. And that's another narrative that's been going on as well. People saying, "Oh, SFL, Morgan Janga, Nifi, Momo, I listened to this in Parafini," and that's a very, very wrong statement to be issued. Who cares whether you're Janga Nabayeki? We all are educated, but end of the day, being the highest educated doesn't mean you can run a country. It has nothing to do with that. By person nga am nirmande, yerem sanity, yerem no us. And then you can help them, because look at the feel, you can feel it. It's like your own family. It's like you hiding and having a good life whilst your family are suffering. You must be a very bad parent then. You know what I mean? As a parent, you sacrifice. It's just for our kids. You go through all that hardship for their kids. And that's the parable. That's what I want them to understand. That's how a president should be. President, disona. Then gahamne mom chono mbobu mune manko de kusuma niti nyumuna ne kasi jama ile. One day president one, if you see him, I'm not talking about, because I'm not looking at that saying that's healthy life living. But what I'm saying is, at least you will know he's living a better life than most of people. They Quran so them in phone economic. Mom Quran demonstrate out. So I'm black. So Gambia I'm blackout. Why is it not happening at State House? Put you feel nakala chono bimel. This is the thinking. This is what I want people to be. This is how I want Gambians to be thinking. You know, kurang su demee Banjul office yi ben kurang waru fa am nu gay di fiile tangor be ñaka kurang be sen kër ñom tamit let them feel the same thing, and then that makes them work harder to sort that problem out. If not, it's going to be the same, because you also nekk sa kër di sona mënuloo am ndox mënuloo am kurang kii mu ngi tëdd si office am taal air condition am di def lu ko nekk kooku du if he's not a sensible person he wouldn't even think.
No.
And that's the trend. And that has to change. That's why I say we need someone with a drastic changes, drastic measures. Lay down the rules. This is, we have to go back and then start all over again or face another direction. Want to continue direct. Then by if we waste time in it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It was nice having you on board. I hope we'll be back here maybe, I don't know, Saturday night or Sunday night when we already know the results, of course. And yeah, good luck to us. We're all Gambians. And thank you very much for your time. I now want to take a leave of you all.
Baboucarr, thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a great time. Thank you to yourself and Cham.
Thank you so much. See you guys soon. Maybe we'll plan one for Saturday or Sunday, inshallah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure, thank you.